Hello, hello, X's and Stevo's pre-week one. It's September 2nd. It's 12:43 Eastern time. I got to thank my brother, Coach X, ROB style, for joining from home in Meridian, Mississippi, correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
There it is. There it is. So what we've talked about in other videos, we've talked about Eagles, Cowboys, Chargers, Chiefs, Ravens, Bills. Those are teams that are super familiar with each other. We'll kind of run down the rest of the schedule, the rest of the slate. Part of why we want to do this preview and prediction is so that we can recap a little bit in future episodes. So we'll try to do, videos, multiple videos every week before and after the games. We might even have some Sundays where we hop on and just talk about maybe like I guess this upcoming Sunday night's battle of the Ravens Bills, as X's and Stevo's are on the same side for all three games. We got Ravens over the Bills. We differ in opinion on the difference, the point differential there, but I think we can understand why Coach X thinks his Ravens will handle those Bills. The Chiefs fan, have the Chiefs just barely over the Chargers, maybe even coming back late. And I think we're in pretty good agreement that the Eagles will outpace Dallas pretty consistently from start to finish, where the game might be close in terms of points at different times throughout the game, but I think the Eagles will pull away late and celebrate their banner raising Super Bowl defense part one. The other games we're going to talk about, we're going to kind of go right through these games. We're going to chime in where we see fit. Some of these games are interesting. I had to redo a few of these scores because I'm starting to pick like 34-14. I'm like, bro, relax. This is the NFL. That almost never happens. We're not watching college here. This is the pros. So I say that, and I do have a comfortable two-score win in this first game. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the Atlanta Falcons. Atlanta has a lot to be excited about. I think Penix is real. I remember telling Coach X that I was picking Washington to beat Michigan in that national championship game solely based off the Penix performance, the way he played against Texas. I was like, yo, this is a professional quarterback right here. They ended up getting stomped by Michigan. So that's not an indictment on Penix. I think he's going to have a long, good career. I think the Falcons got a lot of weapons. I think the Buccaneers are among the most underrated and underappreciated teams in the entire NFL. I think they are legit. I think talent-wise, they are solid, if not very good, all over the place. I think Baker Mayfield is good, and we'll talk about in a future video where I have him on my quarterback list, since we're all doing quarterback lists these days. But without further ado, I got the Bucs over the Falcons 31-20. Coach X, how do you see it?
Yeah, something similar, 27-17. I think Atlanta will show up for a while, but I think Tampa Bay's just too much at the end.
Yeah, it's hard to, it would be disrespectful, I feel like, although Tampa Bay is the road team, and I have a concerning amount of road teams winning this weekend. It's hard to ignore what they've been. And I know Bowles, gets some heat, maybe not the best head coach in the NFL, but a very, very good head coach and a very good defensive coach.
Mhm.
So I think they'll be able to slow Atlanta's newfound exciting season ahead for the Falcons, I think, but Tampa Bay takes this one at least week one. Next, one of Coach X's favorite players in the entire NFL, Joseph, whatever middle name, Barrow. Um, the Bengals, and they're all getting paid over there in Cincinnati. They're just raining in the dough, including a defensive end who's aging on a unit that is not great. But hey, I don't get paid any bucks to do football. I'm just chatting football. We got Cincinnati at Cleveland. Now, we got Cleveland is an interesting story. I think they're a team, with all due respect, of course, to Raven legend Joe Flacco. I do think Cleveland is a team that will be in the mix for the number one overall pick. I think Cincinnati's a team that if they can just, it's funny, death by a thousand cuts, die a slow death on defense. It's almost like if you're Cincinnati, if you're going to let the other team score, go ahead and give Burrow and Chase and Higgins and Chase Brown more time to go ahead and score. I remember those days as a Chiefs fan. I think the Bengals are squarely in there. I got Bengals 34-14. That is absolutely my prediction as I was saying earlier. I wrote that down. I was like, bro, you're tripping, but I'm not tripping. I think the Bengals will clean the Browns clock. I think Burrow is an early idea of mine for MVP because he's going to have to. If Chase and Higgins, obviously Higgins the bigger health question mark, but if Chase and Higgins are available all year, that unit's going to be a problem. The Browns, I think they scored 2 touchdowns. I think both of them are Flacco bombs to gosh, I don't know. You know, I mean, Judy,
Somebody,
I
one of
guess.
those
Right,
players
right.
every
Judy's down there somewhere kind of deal. And I know, maybe Cleveland will score. I wrote 21 down initially, but given the Browns, 21 points felt like a lot, even with the Bengals' woes on defense. Al Golden, shout out to Temple Al, former head coach. Al Golden is the new DC in Cincinnati. He did a great job at Notre Dame last season. Obviously, a huge difference, but what I think they'll be able to do is just fresh voice, fresh looks, and I think that'll slow Cleveland down, if that's even a thing to slow Cleveland down. I got Cincinnati by a whole lot over the Browns. Coach X, what do you think?
I honestly see this one differently. I think
Ooh,
the
let's
Browns are going to
go.
score some, more than people think. They will make it close for all of 2.5 quarters, and then the Bengals will do what the Bengals do. I do think the final score will be somewhere in the ballpark of 34-24.
Okay. Okay.
I
No, I
don't I
respect.
don't believe in the Bengals defense at all. They haven't shown me anything different in years. And if it wasn't for that guy at QB, this would be a bad team. Like this would be a historically bad team.
That's facts. It's there's no argument there for me. I think it's funny because we just talked about Chiefs, Chargers, Eagles, Cowboys, divisional game. They're not typically blowouts. If anything, I feel like Cleveland has a good record against Cincinnati, the Joe Burrow Bengals over the years. But I wonder if this is a statement opportunity. The Bengals historically start out terribly. So right, they lost to the Patriots week 1 last year. I want to say that I'm hopeful that Burrow and company, um, just from a mindset leadership standpoint, that he just won't accept that. I'm kind of going against the grain here. I think your prediction makes a lot more sense. The Bengals typically struggle early. The Browns are an NFL professional team. We'll see. I'm going to lean on the side of blowout, but I agree. It doesn't feel good to predict the blowout in the NFL. They don't usually happen. This next game, there are a few of these games are tough, brother. So Miami at Indianapolis. And
Mhm.
it's funny, I'm not very high on Miami this season either. I think there's some turmoil going on in that locker room. I think that head coach is at about his end of his run as the Dolphins head coach. But I'm going with Miami with the win. And here's why. I do think from a talent standpoint, the Dolphins have it. Hill, Waddle, they're still there. I know A-Chain, Shane, however you say it, is back to practicing. I know they're
Mhm.
nervous about his calf. And Tua, Tua is the question mark as always. When he's healthy, he is a elite point guard in the NFL. Like he can distribute the football. He's a very accurate passer. And I think McDaniel's system is a very good system. I think McDaniel's destined to be a very good OC, who will get another head coach chance in the future. I think it's tough to win in Miami. But I think they go on the road to Indianapolis, and beat the Colts. I have this one 20-14. And this is more a question of Daniel Jones. The Colts named Jones the starter over AR, your Florida Gator. Um, I almost think I might predict this game differently if Richardson was playing. That's not to say when it comes to being an NFL quarterback, maybe Daniel Jones is better. But I think what you do when you play Daniel Jones at quarterback is you put a ceiling on your offense. Whereas I think with Richardson, there's certainly the floor doesn't exist. It can get the lowest of the lows, but I also think that big playability, is there, and they have Pierce and they have Downs as well. And I'm just not sure that I trust Jones to connect with those guys. I know they have Warren, so he'll kind of set the pace up and down the field. But I feel like man, Miami's going to win this one, because they're as healthy as Miami's going to be all season. That's true for all the teams. But Miami, you might lose Hill, you might lose Tua. I think of all the question marks, I think Miami has more answers. I got 20-14 Dolphins.
Man, you don't give Jonathan Taylor any love, huh? It was just like no
Ooh.
mention, no. I honestly think this will be a statement win for the Indianapolis Colts. I think they win 20-17. I
Okay,
think
statement. Yeah, win's a win.
I think they come out because I think Daniel Jones gets a fresh start. I feel like just like you said, his ceiling is capped 100%, and I think he'll get utilized similarly to how he got utilized with the Giants. But I think manage him a lot better because he still has an elite running back that can take a lot of the pressure off of him. His decision making, I don't think is always there. I don't fully trust him as a quarterback. But I think I just always have question marks anytime Miami is not in Miami. Any anytime. But luckily they're indoors, so it'll be a little bit better. But I think the Colts make a statement win, and they pull off the dub.
I wish you went first so I could have been like, nah, yeah, me too. I got the Colts too. Yeah, no, these are all good points. I think I questioned some of the Colts changes on their O-line, but they could be for the better. Who knows? This is a tough one to pick. A few of these games are really tough. I'll lean Dolphins because I think Hill and Waddle, and I'm like, I guess they'll score more with Tua. But you're 100% right. Like if the operation is Daniel Jones is who he is, let's lean on
Hmm.
Taylor. Let's get first downs and let's try to contain that Miami offense. That could be a recipe for success. I absolutely see that. Okay, so we differ on that's the first result that we differ on,
Hmm.
even if not points. All right, this next one is another good one, I think. This is Vegas going to New England. Obviously, the Raiders are in the AFC West. I pay attention to what they do. I think they've made a lot of really good decisions. I think they have a good GM. I know they have a good head coach. I know they have a good quarterback. For fantasy purposes, I have to hope that they drafted a great running back in Ashton Genty. We know they have maybe the tight end in the NFL. We know there's some question marks on the offensive line. We know there's some question marks on defense as well. I have a lot of respect for the Raiders. That being said, I'm kind of going potential here and picking the Patriots. I think the time difference. I think that hey, that's enough. We're recording here. Um, I think the time difference. We'll get to the Raiders a little bit. I think it'll take some time to gel. I know the Raiders will try to run the ball. I don't
Hmm.
know if their offensive line will block so well. And so what I see is I think Drake May is going to operate up and down the field a little bit more maybe than Geno Smith is able to. I think Drake May will be in a few more third and manageables, third and favorables, like we talked about the Chargers getting to against the Chiefs. I think Drake May will be in a few more of those situations than Geno Smith will. And at the end of the day, again, this was a toss-up. I have 24-20. If you told me that Vegas was winning 24-20, I'd agree with you. I'm going the other way. I'm going with the Patriots. I think Henderson will find the end zone, and I think the Patriots make a big statement in the Vrabel era.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. I don't trust the Patriots at all. I don't trust that organization since Belichick left. I'm complete opposite 24-20 Raiders. Pete Carroll will have the Raiders right and they will get a dub.
I'm loving this. We can't come on here and agree. We got three other videos where we're like, yeah, I see it that way too. We gotta disagree a little bit. Part of me, brother, I wrote these games down and I went a road team, road team, road team. And I'm like, nah, man, we can't just do that. So it's like one of those things where you get multiple choice and the last three
Mhm.
answers have been C. It's like it
Yeah,
can't be
yeah,
C again.
yeah.
Literally. But I see that game as a good game. Miami, Indianapolis, Vegas, New England. To me, those are toss-ups. This next game feels like a little bit less of a toss-up, depending on what you think of the New Orleans Saints
Mhm.
and the Arizona Cardinals. So it is Arizona going to New Orleans. Um, I think the Cardinals are a team that is ready, is on the verge of taking that step to being a team that you take serious.
Mhm.
I think they have to go out there and earn it. They have not earned the benefit of the doubt, but I mean, they were coming up when the NFC West was like, yo, all three of those other teams are pretty darn good. I don't think that's as much the case anymore, and I think they've shored up some areas. I had Marvin Harrison Jr. in fantasy. Shout out to Philadelphia last year. That could not have been any more disappointing. That was a tragic pick by yours truly. But I think they're figuring it out. And I went back to the Arizona Cardinals well for fantasy. I got Trey McBride just standing there right in that tight end slot. I think
Mhm.
Kyler he's a good quarterback, I think. Maybe he's not a good quarterback, but he's a good football player, is
Mhm.
maybe a better way to say it. But I don't think New Orleans will present enough to pick New Orleans to win this game. I have this one 21-16. I think Kamara and Olave. deserve some respect. I think they'll get the Saints to field goal position. They're in the dome, so I think they'll kick some field goals.
Mhm.
Cardinals defense, I think, is going to be very good. I think they'll score a good bit with Connor and Benson, and Murray himself. I just think this is a talent discrepancy. I picked 21-16 because I don't think Arizona's some world beater, but this is a game that could easily get to two or more scores, I think. If Arizona is what we think they are, I think they'll win this comfortably. Even if they're not, I think they'll win this close.
Yeah. No, that's why you're such a great host. Like you do a good job of being thorough, talking about all these talking points. And I'm looking at this game, I'm like, man, get the Saints out of here. They're gonna get beat by 10 to 14 points. I'm thinking it's gonna be somewhere along the lines of 24 to 13. We're gonna keep it moving. They don't This team does not have it to me, and nah. But that's a good job. You're a good job as a host. I'm like, nah, get them out of here. They're gonna take it
Yeah, I agree. I mean, with respect to Spencer Rattler, when that's your, is it Rat or Rattler? When
off.
he's announced to win your quarterback battle, that's a tough reaction. Anywho, we're on to the next one, and I know some of the folks that might happen to tune into these videos are extra clued into this one. Our home city, or I shouldn't say home city, bless, our current city, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. They will travel to the New York Jets. Um, Obviously, there's a storyline with Rodgers returning to New York. I don't read much into that. It's not like he had some kind of storied experience there.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, the injury happened the next year. It went off the rails. I think Robert Sale is an awesome defensive coordinator. I don't think he should be a head football coach similar to McDaniel from Miami on the other side of the ball. Still, Pittsburgh, they add Rodgers. I really like the Steelers this year. I know we might differ on this. I think when I say I like the Steelers, I'm not talking about Cameron Hayward. I'm not even talking about TJ Watt. I think they have a bunch of depth pieces. I love this Herbig kid that they have as an edge. They added Jack Sawyer and Harmon to the defensive front. I think they added some just true Steeler players. I think Caleb Johnson and Waddle, excuse me, Waddle, bless, 30, Warren Waddle. I think they'll make for, a solid backfield. I think their offensive line is underrated. I imagine that they'll be really, really good up front. So they'll be able to play some of that Steeler football, and I think Rodgers will operate just enough. He does not turn the ball over. That's something that they've experienced issues with before. Not necessarily the turnovers when like Fields was playing, who we'll see on the other side. He didn't really turn the ball over, but did they score enough was the question at times. Now they won a bunch of games with him, and I think we're in agreement they should never win away from Fields. At least that's how I feel. But in this one, I got Pittsburgh going on the road, winning 17-13. I question, we talk about a ceiling of an offense when Daniel Jones is your quarterback. I think there is a ceiling with Justin Fields, but it's different because Fields can go and score a 70-yard touchdown with his legs. The
Mhm.
issue is he going to complete enough third and medium, third and long passes? I know they
Yeah.
like Garrett Wilson. We all do. He's a great football player. Is Fields a capable enough passer? And I'm a Fields guy. Everybody that remembers that draft, I was like, Justin Fields, that's my quarterback from this class. And he just hasn't shown it. So I have the Steelers stopping the Jets run game just enough. I love me some Breece Hall. I do think the Jets also have a good offensive line, but I think the Steelers defense, excuse me, will neutralize that. So I got 17-13. The Steelers go to New York and find a way to win.
No, I couldn't agree with you more. I'm really a big fan of Warren. Like, I love how he runs. It's
Mhm.
hard to tackle him, and I think that's more of a representation of Steelers football. Like running the ball, passing when you have to. I don't, like you said, I don't think Aaron Rodgers is going to make many mistakes, and this will be a good statement win for them to get the fan base bought in even more on Rodgers, and I think Warren will be the difference maker in this. I don't think the Jets have enough offense to compete with the Steelers defense at all. I think Steelers are going to get back with this game closer to that the steel curtain. I won't say it'll be there, but their defense will come up, feels to look aggressively average again. Favorite word of the podcast or the video. But yeah, I think Steelers do their thing. They handle business. 2013, somewhere along there.
Yeah, aggressively average. We haven't even released our quarterbacks list, which we should have an aggressively average counter on the screen, but
Mm.
we're not high tech yet. This is just Zoom, folks. Agree. I think this is a professional franchise against a team that will get there. I'm a big Aaron Glenn fan, but It's game one. You're playing a grown-up, a professional at the position in Aaron Rodgers. I agree with you. Defense will keep the Jets down. The offense will find a way to score just enough, if not more. Next game is interesting because I'm a little bit higher on the other team from New York, because I think they have talent. And obviously, when you're bad for a while in the NFL, you get to pick. You get your choice of talent, usually at the top of the draft. And I think the Giants are experiencing that. Years of mediocrity at best. They have some really, really good difference makers, especially on that defensive line. It might be the best pass rushing defensive line in football. Um, the offensive line I don't think is terrible. I can't, I'll have to read up more. I can't pretend to know so much about the New York Giants operation other than that Malik Neighbors is a world beater at wide receiver. And if they get professional grown-up quarterback play from former Steeler Russell Wilson, then this is a team that you're going to have to show up and play. The Chiefs play them early in the season, among a tough stretch for the Chiefs. And I know like fans are on X like, oh man, like at least we get the Giants. I'm like, at least we get the Giants. That's Abdul Carter and friends, Dexter Lawrence rushing our new offensive line. I'm like, I don't think you get to say at least we get the Giants this week anymore. I guess is my point. Dable's a good offensive mind. I think he's going to ask Russell Wilson to do exactly what Russell Wilson can do.
Mhm.
Probably stay away from the middle of the field. The good news is Malik Neighbors is not in the middle of the field. I like the Giants a lot. I say all that to say that I think Washington will win this game because Jaden Daniels is, to me, trending to that tier of no-brainer, top of the list quarterbacks. I can't put him there yet. It's been one whole season.
Right.
I think what the heck's his name? Cliff Kingsbury. I think he's tuned in with Daniels, and I think Daniels does a great job as a young guy of protecting the football. So what he doesn't do is he doesn't really turn it over, and he can extend the drive. It could be 3rd and 11, and he can get that first down himself. Um, I know from the draft, like we talked a little bit about Debo Samuel, Samuels, excuse me, like we expect him to still be the good football player he is. McLaurin just signed, so he's happy. One more year in the system for everybody on both sides. I think Washington will win this, but I wanted to spend some time giving the Giants their props because I do believe they're going to be a tough team. I got 20-13 in this one, Coach X.
Yep. I think we agree who's going to win here. I think I agree that the Giants defense is going to surprise a lot of people, and I think they'll be pretty sound on offense. I can see that defense easily being a top 10 defense in the NFL. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. But like you said with Jaden Daniels, he is trending towards that elite status with 1 year. I mean, rookie year, you get to the NFC Championship game. That's impressive. And the NFC is loaded. They don't have scrubs over there, and they played their butts off. Put a spanking on the Lions. I was like, what? That was probably the most surprised thing. I'm like, all right, they're gonna get here. It was cute, and they're about to get steamrolled. But it was like, nah, we're about to show you we're here to stay. So all that to say this, yeah, I'm in agreement. It'll be somewhere around the 24 to 24-17 range, something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Props to the Giants, but gotta, of course, acknowledge the Commanders. Talk about the winners. Brother, Coach X, this next game, when I tell you I have no clue who's going to win this game, I got no idea. It's Carolina at Jacksonville. What the heck are we talking about? There's so many questions that I have going into this game. I also liked Bryce Young coming out of college. I actually, and I have to say it, I'll say it on recording. I think Bryce Young was the better pick than Stroud, despite Stroud's clear success and ability to take his team to the playoffs. I think Bryce Young's good. Um, I think Carolina has some talent for sure. I picked Jacksonville 24-21. I don't love Trevor Lawrence, but I do like Liam Cohen, the head coach of the Jaguars. When he was with Baker in Tampa Bay, I felt like he made the right call like all of the time. The Bucs have some talent. I think the Jaguars have some talent. We talked about Malik Neighbors. Last game, the Jacksonville Jaguars feature Brian Thomas,
Mhm.
LSU teammate, as well as Travis Hunter. Obviously, that's the storyline. Where does he play and what does he do more of? But Hunter's just a great football player. I think Liam Cohen's a great coach. I don't think Dave Canales is a bad coach. I think Carolina's going to be another tough out kind of team. I don't think they're as talented as New York is. But this one, brother, I don't know. I picked Jacksonville. They're the home team, 24-21. Happy to be wrong.
Yep, Jacksonville will keep moving there. This is I can't waste my breath on this. Let's keep it going.
He said, let's get to this next juggernaut, which is my other multi-score prediction from this week, and that's the Tennessee Titans going to the Denver Broncos. I think Cam Ward is the most disrespected number one overall pick ever. He is not the story. He hasn't been the story, and he deserves to be the story. The way he worked up the ranks and always showed out. He took in my opinion, underwhelming Miami team to within plays of the ACC championship game and the playoff. Um, I believe in Cam Ward. Respectfully, this is going to be an ugly week one. I think the Denver Broncos boast the best defense in the NFL. I know your Ravens are up there as well. I think the Broncos do it by committee. They're deep. They can cover. They added Jahdae Barron, I think is how you say it, from Texas. He is a freaky athlete to a secondary that I think led the league or was top five or something like that in interceptions. They were either led the league or top something in sacks as well. Benito up front, among other defensive linemen. I think Denver is just too good. Denver is the team that I think will take a step forward. I don't think, and we might talk about Bo Nix. We might not talk about Bo Nix on our quarterback list show, but I do think I think Denver's operation, I think Sean Payton's got them rolling. I got them winning 31-17, and 17's probably being a little bit nice to my man Cam Ward.
Yep. No, I agree. I don't have much to say on this. I think Denver is a team that you have to look out for. Um, I think they're a team you have to look out for, especially in the AFC West. Like they were close and they made some massive strides. So yeah, I got them handling Tennessee pretty easily.
Agreed, agreed. Moving on, a tough game to call. San Francisco at Seattle. Obviously, San Fran had that rough year last year, a lot of injuries. They did shed some talent this offseason, certainly on the defensive side of the ball. You welcome back Christian McCaffrey. That is a perpetual question mark. And the question really isn't who you're getting when he's there. It's if he is available. The best ability is availability. He is healthy, right? Like he's playing. With that in mind, I'm going to pick San Francisco to win an old-fashioned NFC West battle. I love Seattle. I love Mike McDonald. Is that his name? Was
James.
he? Is it
Oh,
the Ravens DC, right? It used
DC.
to
Yeah,
be.
yeah, yeah.
I
Hmm.
think McDonald. So he is an awesome football mind. Clearly, Seattle took to him. I'm curious about um, what is it? The quarterback from USC. Sam Darnold now in Seattle. They move on from Geno. They take Sam Darnold. I'm curious about that. I'm going to go San Francisco. When they're healthy, I think they're a playoff team. I got that one 17-14, though it is in Seattle.
Yeah. I don't know. Like is a toss up for me. I think Mike McDonald have the Seahawks right. I don't trust San Francisco anymore. Um, I need to see what they look like as a revamped team, healthy. If Christian McCaffrey is there, I think, hey, that makes all the difference in the world. But like you said, the best ability is availability, and he's always a question mark. He could be 100 yards in the first half, get hurt, and you won't see him again until week 11. So I'm going to go with the Seahawks just because I know Coach Mike is a defensive guru.
Great call. It's a great call. So I think Purdy will come up in our quarterback conversation. I know for sure both of these next guys will, at least on my end. That's Detroit at Green Bay. Another really tough divisional game. Talent is similar, if not the same. Obviously, Green Bay adds Parsons. The nice thing about being kind of skilled as a pass rusher is you can kind of plug and play those guys. He doesn't need to
Mhm.
learn a bunch of coverages. He doesn't need to learn a whole bunch of different schemes. You can just tell him to go. I think Hatley and the Green Bay defense is legit. It's their defense coordinator. I'm not as high as on Love as some people. I think he has a ceiling. At least, he has to play a whole healthy season before we see it. Now I think
Yep.
he's a great quarterback, not the best quarterback. I'm taking Green Bay, because Detroit's breaking in two new coordinators. I think there's that grace that is involved there. I think they'll have to get to it, with some of these new guys. The talent is still there, of course, but I think Green Bay is maybe one step ahead because Detroit's breaking in new coordinators.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. Sometimes it takes a while to mesh. You got to see real game action before you can start figuring some things out. So I think Detroit will take a slight maybe step back for a little while, but they'll pick it back up. And I have Green Bay winning a close one, maybe about field goal.
Gotcha. I got you. 23-17 field goal. We're pretty close. Next, we got Houston at the Rams. I think this is a really intriguing matchup. This is the kind of game where like you could convince yourself this is like an outside chance at a Super Bowl preview. Or at least these are two teams that are going to impact someone's Super Bowl path. I think they're both playoff teams. They're probably both contenders for each of their respective divisions. I'm going to take Houston. I'm questioning Stafford's health.
Yeah.
And now you're telling me that Will Anderson and that Houston pass rush are about to tee off on Stafford. I know you have to worry about Devontae Adams and Puka Nacua Shore and Kyron Williams. Like the Rams have talent. I think they're very good. I also respect Jared Verse and Fisk as well up front for the Rams D line. Like this is going to be a back and forth awesome game. If you tell me the Rams were going to win, more power to you. I'm happy to be wrong. I got Houston 24-21. This is going to be an awesome game, probably second best game of the whole weekend.
Yeah. Is Houston healthy, like offensively? Like if their receivers are healthy, this is a for sure a shoe-in playoff team.
Mhm.
Not nothing from the Rams, but if they're healthy, I'll 100% go with the Houston Texans. Their front is legit. Like their defense is legit. So I'm with you. I have Houston winning this bad boy 24-21.
It's awesome. Last but not least, we'll get to Monday Night Football. This is a curious game because I think it's two pretty talented teams. Obviously, Minnesota's a little bit further along on their path to being a good team. They've been a playoff team. Chicago's trying to get to that point. Both have young quarterbacks. This is J.J. McCarthy taking over in Minnesota versus Caleb Williams building on his rookie year. There's this talk of Caleb Williams as if he had some kind of like abysmal rookie year, and then you look at the numbers and you're like, actually, that's pretty solid. And he has the talent. Now he has Ben Johnson calling the plays, and I think they are loaded at the offensive skill positions. They reloaded or fixed, corrected their offensive line. We'll see what their defense does, but I think they got a bunch of pros on that side of the ball. For that reason, I'm going Chicago. It's at Chicago. I think they will outpace Minnesota just enough as McCarthy gets settled in, but I think to your point about Houston, like I think Minnesota, or excuse me, you made this point about Detroit maybe kind of finding their rhythm, and it might take a few games. I think the same is true for the Vikings. I do think McCarthy will be a good NFL quarterback. But for game one, week one, Monday Night Football, I got the Bears 27-23.
Hmm. I'll co-sign to that. Close 21-17. I think Caleb Williams takes a big step forward this year. Like I said, he had a rookie season. You would have thought this man threw 25 interceptions or something. He was pretty solid from top to bottom. So I think the better quarterback wins in this game. And I think that's Caleb Williams at this
Great.
point.
I agree. I agree, for sure. And we can't really any prediction for JJ McCarthy is just that. We haven't really seen him. Caleb, we know if he takes a step forward, that's a really good NFL quarterback. So that's the games. We don't disagree on a whole lot, but some of these toss-ups I'll be curious to come back to. And folks, we'll do a video where we kind of run through some of the lesser key matchups, just to see how we're doing. We'll keep track of our picks as well. So at the end of the year, just like NCAA 14, it'll be some good games and some clean, healthy competition and some uplifting of each other as always. But we appreciate you joining us for that rundown. Hopefully we picked your team. If we didn't, don't take it personal. We gave you reasons why. And even you deep down probably agree with us. Or at least I hope you agree with Coach X. He's usually right. But we appreciate you and we'll see you on the next one.